This video is brought to you by Greater Commons. Greater learning, greater opportunities, greater life.
My name's Todd McLeod, and welcome. And I'll record these lectures so that you can watch them on YouTube and revisit stuff and re-see what I've done. Welcome to CIT 94, Server-Side Scripting. We have two classes here, and eventually we're going to get rid of one of them. We have CIT 94 and we have CIT 90, and they both do server-side scripting or web programming or programming the server. And the other one's called CIT 90, Data-Driven Websites, but in effect they're the same thing. And so I taught this exact same class in the fall, but as CIT 90, Data-Driven Websites. Now we're doing it as CIT 94, Server-Side Scripting. We're just trying to get our curriculum ironed out here at Fresno City College. So server-side scripting, what exactly is that? So, you know, if we look at how the web works, and we can look for like client server and look for client server web, and we'll just look for an image here and see what comes up. And so here's client server, and we'll go with this one, even though I wish that was a little bit. This is pretty good. That's nice, even though it's small. All right, so here we have a client, and here we have a server. And so client server is just an architecture and networking. You could also have an architecture of peer-to-peer, like BitTorrent, or back in the days, you know, Napster. Those were peer-to-peer. And peer-to-peer architecture is where a machine is both sometimes a client and sometimes a server. Sometimes you're asking for something from somebody, and sometimes you're being asked for something by somebody. So client-server architecture is like a restaurant. Don't be confused by it, right? In a restaurant, you have clients, you have servers, and a client asks for stuff, and the server goes and gets it and brings it back and delivers it to the client, right? So same way with networking. You know, the client asks for things, and it asks the server for stuff, and then the server fulfills that request and then delivers something back to the client. And so that's the web. I know it's a little bit blurry, but here you have a client, and the client will make requests, and it makes a request of the server, and then the server replies and gives something back to the client. And if that reply is successful, the server will reply HTTP 200, you know, status okay, everything's good, right? Or if you can't find what you're looking for, the server will reply HTTP 404, not found. How many people have seen that 404 error, right? So that's just the basic architecture of the web, client, server. And so the holy trilogy, the holy triumvirate, I don't know if I'm saying that word right. Who's Catholic in here? How do you say that? The holy triumvirate? Holy Trinity, that's what I'm looking for, thank you. The holy trinity of web programming is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, that's the holy trinity of web programming. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML structures your document. Okay, so that's a markup language, hypertext markup language. CSS formats that content, right? CSS formats it, cascading style sheets. And then JavaScript provides client-side functionality. It's the programming language which runs on the client. Okay, so if I was to be making notes right now, in these notes, I would say, server-side scripting. I'm going to add just a note in here. And the note will be, and we just got really small. So the note I'm going to add in here is architecture of the web. And then I'm going to add popular server-side languages. And those popular server-side languages will be indented. And then architecture of the web is client-server. And then languages of the web. Languages for the client, okay, and we'll put HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, all right? And so that's how you build web pages. And we have CIT 82, which you could still get into this semester, and CIT 82 kind of teaches you the fundamentals of how the web works, and you'll talk about this client-server architecture. How many people have taken 82?
I'm enrolled right now.
Okay, cool. So you're going to get a lot of reinforcement, and you'll be kind of learning things from many different angles, and you'll be confused, but then it'll all start to come together. And then 85, which starts the last 9 weeks. So 82 goes the first 9 weeks. 85, the last 9 weeks. I'm teaching 85. That's HTML and CSS, creating websites. All right, and so that's how we'll learn how to use HTML and CSS to build websites. But this is all on the client side: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And so this is the basic layout of the web. And so then your web server can connect to a database, and also other things like local files, and so that's the architecture of the web. This is fundamental. Wrap your head around this right now. Okay, so client server, request and reply. That's all pretty straightforward, right? Anybody have any questions about it? It's good? Yeah? Client server, request and reply, just like in a restaurant. Okay, cool. So HTML, CSS, JS runs on the client, and then on the server side, we need some language to do some programming. Now, question for you: why would we want client-side functionality? Why would we want JavaScript on the client, some programming language on the client?
It's faster.
It's faster.
It's cleaner.
It's cleaner. What are some examples of what JavaScript can do on the client? Maybe that's a better question.
Flash animation.
So Flash is dead. Nobody uses Flash. Stay away from Flash. Don't ever take a class teaching Flash. You'll never use Flash. It's dead.
It can prompt you for certain things while you're let's say you're filling something out.
Yeah.
Yeah, forms.
Needed to ask a specific question, it can prompt you for that.
Yeah, so if your passwords don't match, you can say, hey, your passwords don't match. And it doesn't have to send that information all the way to the server. The server doesn't then have to realize, oh, the passwords don't match, build a page and send a whole new page back. All right, so JavaScript allows some functionality on the client. Oh, the passwords don't match. Great example, right? Or the other stuff you mentioned. So that's client server. So on the server side, we're going to program on the server to also do stuff. What would be some of the things we would want done on the server? So would we want to check if the passwords match also on the server? Yeah, why? If we did it with JavaScript, why would we want to check on the server that the passwords, enter your password, confirm your password when somebody signs up?
Security purposes? Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody might have JavaScript disabled, right? And so, they might send it in, the passwords don't match. We want to make sure the passwords still match, right? Compare the, enter your password, reconfirm your password, compare that. What else might we do on the server?
FTP.
We could, file storage on the server. Somebody uploads a file, we need to store that somewhere. What else might we do on the server?
Can't you do location?
Like accounting software for businesses, I know they run on servers, right?
Yeah, so some of the, run applications on the server. So everything on the server, hey, you go to Facebook, and it's like you log in at Facebook, you give a username and a password. Well, that username and password gets sent. Now we got to see if there's that matching combination in our database. Hey, there's a matching combination. It's associated with this user. This user has these friends. These friends have made these posts. Let's pull those posts out and put them onto a page, build that page, send it back. That's all server. We create pages dynamically on the server. We contact databases and get information out of databases, build pages, send them back. And that programming, we programmed all that to happen. Okay? And so we have different languages we could choose on the server. When I first started working here in the early 2000s, we taught Cold Fusion. Nobody's heard of Cold Fusion anymore. Right? And we used to, and that was made by company Macromedia. They got bought by Adobe. Nobody knows Macromedia. They used to be one of the heavy hitters in the late 90s. And then in the early 2000s, PHP became the dominant server-side language. So now we're talking about server-side languages. And PHP, pre-hyper HTML processor, something like that. I call it piled high poop. PHP, piled high poop, because it's no longer a good choice. The first most critical decision you'll make when building an application is choosing the right software to build it with. You need to choose the right stack. The stack is the software that you've chosen to build your application. Okay? And if you choose the wrong software, you're dead out of the water. you've already failed. PHP is the wrong choice today. It was a great choice 2003, 2005, 2007, great choice. Wrong choice today. Facebook was built in PHP and had significant trouble. If you're just building a little application to serve 1,000 people a day, fine, no problem. PHP can handle that. But it's slow. Okay? So no PHP. Popular choices today are Ruby, Python, and Node. So Ruby, Python, and Node in that order of preference. These are in order of preference, least preference to best preference. Python, Ruby, Python, and Node. So Ruby's got a lot of magic. Who's done Ruby in here? No, but one person. Was it kind of magical? Enter a command and have the entire thing built? It's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like, I don't know what just happened, but all right, sweet, my app's done. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really know what's going on behind the scenes there, but all right. So Ruby, that's like my second least favorite choice. I've never programmed in it, but that's like the extent of what I know of it. You know, you can get shit done quick. So, but then you got to know the entire how to use Ruby. And your hands are tied if you have to start customizing. And then you have Python. Python's been a great choice for a language. Google built a lot of infrastructure in Python. I looked to Google to see what's Google doing because I believe Google's the best software engineering firm, you know, neck and neck with Microsoft, but the best software engineering firm to have ever existed in the history of humanity. And Google hires some of the best minds in computer science. So I looked to Google, what are they doing? And they built a lot of infrastructure in Python. And so cool, Python, good choice. No longer though. They're no longer building infrastructure, placing an emphasis on building infrastructure in Python. Right? So Python, 5 years ago, cool, good choice, but not today. And so Python, you could use Django, do server-side programming. And then we have Node.js. And Node.js, JS stands for JavaScript. And that allows you to use JavaScript on the client and on the server. And so some people are like, hey, I could use JavaScript on the client and the server. And they say that as if that's a great thing. To me, it's like, oh, great. Yeah, JavaScript on the client and the server. Oh, no, then you know one language and it's cool. Node.js would be my second choice just because it's the second most performant. And it's the second most performant to Go. And Go is the most performant language in the world today for doing server-side programming. In 2006, 2005, Intel released the first dual-core chip. 2005, 2006, right? Up until that point, right, dual-core chips weren't in the common marketplace. 2005, 2006 really, first dual-core chip. 2007, Google started creating a language to natively take advantage of parallelism, being able to use both cores in that dual-core chip well. Up to that point, no language in the world had been created to natively take advantage of concurrent processes easily. All right, so Google, all of the current modern programming languages, C, C++, C#, not that they used it, Python, right, Java, none of the current modern programming languages were doing what Google wanted to have done. And so they hired some luminaries, some of the heaviest hitters in computer science, Rob Pike, Ken Thompson, Robert Gressimer, and they said, let's build a new programming language. They started on this in 2007, and let's build it to natively take advantage of multiple cores, which came out in 2006, right? And so these guys, who are some of the same guys who helped create the C programming language, they helped create Unix, and they helped create UTF-8, which is the world's most popular coding scheme. Let me show you a picture of them. So these guys, right, helped create the C programming language, Unix, and UTF-8, came together. It was like the New York Yankees at their best, like all the heavy hitters. And they created a new programming language, and that programming language is Go. Go is the first two letters of Google. And Go is about making things go fast and at scale. You want to do what Google does, you use the Go programming language. It was written to do what Google does. Web apps at scale. Super fast, super performant. 2009, it was open sourced, right, and is released. 2012, March of 2012, version 1. This language has only been out, right, 5 years. March 2012, and now we're coming up on March 2017 in 2 months. Right? It's been out 5 years. And I started learning Go. Former student of mine who's a JavaScript engineer at Nike, making 150, 250 grand a year, I think 150 grand a year, right? It's right here in this classroom, 12 years ago, and now he's a JavaScript engineer at Nike. So that's what your future can hold if you stick with this and put in 3, 4 years, 5 years, right? You've got a bright future. People need coders. You don't hear people saying, somebody quick, I need a poet. That doesn't happen, right? But people are like, I need a good programmer. Business people need that. And so, former student of mine, I was getting back into the coding game in 2013 because I've been out for about a decade. From 2005 to 2013, I've been out. And I said, what should I learn? He said, Go. And that was in 2013. And so I started studying. Hi, Roy. Hey, Roy, come on in. Everybody, this is Dean Vasquez. And he's the dean of the business division. Works tirelessly for your benefit. So this guy's your best friend. If you ever have any problems, if instructors aren't doing what they should be doing, they're giving you flack. If you're just confused, if you're having an emotional crisis, his office is right across the quad here. He's your friend. You just walk in and say, hey, I need to speak to Rogelio. A name like Rogelio, he's going to be somebody who could have a soulful conversation with you. And you could just share your soul and he'll help you find a solution. So Dean Vasquez, there we go. He's had enough. You got to pump up the boss. That's like work skills number 101 right there. So I don't know, what was I saying? You tell me.
Go is the way to go.
Go is the way to go, right? 2012 version 1, I started studying it in December of 2014. Heard about it in 2013. December 2014, started studying it. Taught it at Fresno State, spring of 2015, failed miserably. Taught it sort of as a lab class where let's figure this language out and see if we could do web programming, and we did not figure it out. 2015, we spent $100,000 put on the Web Summer Boot Camp. We hired one of the best people in the Go programming language, Caleb Doxey, who came in for 4 weeks and taught us how to do web programming with Go. He created the code pathway that was the beginning of the code pathway we'll follow through this class. I've since built upon it. But I was a beginner, novice, fumbling poorly. Caleb would have taken me out in the pasture and shot me in the head if I was livestock, right? Just for being pathetic and not knowing anything. Because it had been a decade since I'd done anything. And when I got out, I wasn't even using CSS. I was still building things with tables, right? And the game was changing, and I was kind of tired of the pace, so I jumped out. I had the opportunity to do something else, and I did. But then 2013, I got back in. So 2015, Summer Web Boot Camp, taught it again at Fresno State and at City. Fall of 2015, spring of taught advanced web programming, fall of 2015. Spring of 2016, taught it at Fresno State and here. Fall of 2016, taught it here and at Fresno State, I think. And now this semester, I'm just teaching it here. And you guys are fortunate because I feel like I've finally hit stride in the last couple of semesters and really can kind of convey this material well. And so I'm looking forward to sharing with all of you the best programming language you can learn today for doing server-side programming, and one of the hottest and most in-demand programming languages in the marketplace right now. When you leave here and you know Go, you're going to be, that's going to be a skill that might not be recognized in Fresno, but it'll be recognized in the major markets. And the industry adoption has been huge for the Go programming language. It's really taken off the last year and a half. Google is being rewritten in Go. YouTube is already rewritten in Go. Docker, Kubernetes are all Go, right? Like huge companies are just go, 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 go. It's because Go is performant and scales and takes advantage of multiple cores. So it's really awesome. And your teacher, believe it or not, I'm one of the world's leading teachers in the Go programming language. In terms of quantity, maybe not necessarily quality, but for whatever reason, I've reached a lot of people. I've taught 45,000 people in an online platform, how to do the Go programming language.
I wanted to bring that up actually. I do use Udemy. for
Yeah,
my
cool.
courses, and I was looking you up on my professor,
Yeah.
and then I noticed the Udemy link, and I had already been subscribed to a Udemy course in the past. I think it's on like Reddit or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was.
Yeah, trip out on that, right? Like, I've done 45,000 people on Udemy. Lynda.com then asked me to do a training on Go. And I don't know. I didn't study computer science. I studied economics and business, right? I got an MBA. But I'm like, I'm willing to fail, right? I'm willing to fail. I will step up. If the major leagues say, hey, you want to step up and bat? Sure, hit me with the ball. Let's go. Maybe I'll get lucky, right? I will step up and bat. So I did a training for Lynda.com. Had to have the students of Fresno State help me figure out half the solutions because I couldn't figure them out on my own. And on Lynda.com, I've taught 45,000 people. So I've taught like 100,000 people on YouTube. I've taught 500,000 people to watch my YouTube stuff. So I've taught like 650,000 people how to use the Go programming language. And I'm like just learning the terminal person myself 2 years ago. But I've applied myself. All right, so Go is great. And it's the best choice you can make today. That's the takeaway of this talk. And a little bit about me. You just got a little bit about me. But, teaching courses on Udemy. And then also created this website here, FresnoRadon.com. Just because I got interested in radon and started a business with my cousin. And so if you don't know about radon, check out FresnoRadon.com. And then with some of my students at Fresno State, like my trainings are earning like $30,000 a month. It's like, holy cow, right? And then Udemy takes 70%, a royalty. They leave 30%. So my friends and I are like, I think we could deliver our trainings and save a little bit of that money. And so some of the students I met at Fresno State were creating this platform here. And it's, the logo of the shirt I'm wearing. And just look at the beauty of that, just that like animation. So some really talented people I'm working with to build this platform, all in Go, where we're going to be able to do education to employment and, help people get jobs by taking trainings and help companies find trained people. And so it's a pretty cool deal. So that's a little bit about me. Anybody have questions?
Go server side only, or is it client and server side?
Server side only. But there's packages out there that will take Go code and turn it into JavaScript. If you want to write it in Go and then generate JavaScript. But just write in JavaScript. Take a JavaScript class. You should know that too.
I was wondering for what we're going to be covering. I know the description said PHP, ASP, JSP. We're going to be doing just Go.
Just Go. Yeah, I didn't even put ASP up there on the list. Yeah. Just Go in this class. Cool? Any other questions?